In this video, I'm going to teach you 6 ways to be more interesting and engaging in conversation. If this is your first time tuning into this channel, consider subscribing. On this channel, I post videos about how to become a more badass, confident dude so you can live a fulfilling life. Alright guys, I just got to the gym. Right now, just drinking this Reign Carnival Candy. Great flavor. I'm only drinking this because I ran out of pre-workout. Gonna go hit some legs, and then I'll share with you guys how to become a more engaging conversationalist. Alright, I just got done with my workout. Now I am headed into Harris Teeter, gonna get a sub, then play some lacrosse with Zach. You know, for me, growing up, I was an extremely shy kid. I would hide behind my mom's leg until a ridiculous age of like 7 or 8, and I wouldn't be able to talk to adults, even kids my own age. I was just nervous, just overall a lot of social anxiety in interacting with my peers. When I got up towards high school, I realized that this was no way to live my life, and I had to learn even though nobody was going to teach me. So what I did was I started studying online how to talk to people, how to talk to girls, how to talk to your peers, how to be cool, body language, all the things that I needed to learn so that I could be the guy that would make me feel actually good about myself, somebody that would be able to live a fulfilling life. Now, before I head in here, I want to share with you guys the first tip on how to be more engaging in conversation. Now, this is probably one of the most important ones, and this is why I wanted to start with it. You have probably heard of somebody speaking in monotone. They have the same tone no matter what they're saying, and they continue to talk with the same rhythm as they talk, just like that. But when you talk, you want to be what's called polytonal. You want to use a lot of different tones. Raise the tone of your voice and deepen the tone of your voice. Speed it up and slow it down. Because when you do these things, the brain cannot connect with the pattern that you are talking with. And when that happens, you become more engaging. Number one, it's a tip that if you want to make videos is one of the most important things. But also, when you want to tell a story or have a good conversation and you feel like the other person is drifting off, well then you just need to change your tone and change the speed at which you're talking. The second tip is to use alternative words. Typically we use these words that are so common and they're really boring. But if you use these words that are going to give more emotion and give more context to what you're talking about, it's gonna be a lot more engaging. So for example, instead of saying, I looked into her eyes, you could say, I gazed deep into her soul. Doesn't that just sound so much more appealing and engaging if somebody were telling you a story that had that line in it? This is something I recommend that you practice. You're not gonna get it right off the bat, but you'll learn how to use other words and your vocabulary will actually expand, which makes you just a more interesting dude no matter what. Oh, what a day. After playing sports and lifting, I came home and I fell asleep on the couch. So a lot of this video is just gonna be sit down and talk with Trev, but that's alright because there's a lot of tips that I have here for you. And the next one is to use touch in conversation. Now the key here is to use touch properly, because if you don't, then you will be less engaging and you could come off creepy or awkward. Now, if you are within a reasonable distance of somebody having a conversation, if a joke is made, then that is a good time to reach out and touch their shoulder. If you're talking to a cute girl and you say something sly with a smirk, then you can touch her elbow. Now, what that touch does is it brings the emotion and the reality of the situation together and connects in their mind that you are the one bringing them that emotion. That connection in their brain is important to making the conversation feel comfortable and also make you more engaging because other senses are brought into the equation. If you guys have liked this video thus far, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe and hit the little notification bell because I'm coming out with videos just like this one every Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. and you don't want to miss them. Now let's head downstairs, get some protein in because we gotta recover these muscles. Quick little side note, these salmon burgers are one of my favorite ways to get in a lot of protein. 20 grams of protein per salmon burger. Plus, you can get them in Costco for super cheap, and you can get a ton of them. Typically, I throw like 2 or 3 of them on the skillet when I get home, and it really just packs in so much protein. And if I add a bun to it, cheese, etc., I can really up the calories if I'm trying to put on weight. Anyway, let's get to the 4th tip. This is ask questions. Realistically, you want to follow the rule of 80-20. When you're talking to somebody, you want to talk 20% of the time, and you want them to be talking 80% of the time. The way you do this is through asking genuine questions. Be curious about their life. Now, depending on who you're talking to is going to determine the type of questions that you want to ask. If you are talking to a girl, then you probably don't want to dig too much into painful past boyfriends that she had. If you're talking to your significant other's parents, then you may not want to bring up things like politics or religion if you know that you guys don't agree on those subjects. Now, the important thing about asking questions is that you use each question to flow into each other and also utilize the time in between to relate to them. So if I asked somebody what their day job was and they said a computer software engineer, then I would say something like, oh wow, that was actually my first college major. Fun fact, it was. What made you choose that career field? So now not only have I asked them a follow-up question so it can help them think and feel comfortable about where the conversation is going, but I've also told them something about me, and since I only said a short little bit about it, they probably have questions in their head saying, so why did he switch away from it? Why didn't he continue being a software engineer? And these questions in their mind may either come out in the form of a question or stick in their mind as a curiosity about you. And the human brain really likes to solve problems. So if it doesn't know something, then they're gonna continuously think about you. Not in a creepy way, but in a way that makes you more interesting. The 6th tip is to use eye contact correctly. This is important because when you show somebody that you are engaged with what they're saying through your eye contact, then they're gonna have to reciprocate eye contact back to you. Now, the important thing is don't just stare into their soul at every second of the conversation, but when the time is appropriate, you can glance to the side and break eye contact momentarily. The best time for this is when it transitions from them speaking to you speaking. Typically, you'll feel a natural break in the conversation, and that is also a natural time to break the eye contact. And the 6th tip, and honestly one of the hardest ones to actually pull off, is leave at the height of the conversation. This may seem the opposite of what you would want to think. You would think if the conversation was going well that you want to stay in it. But what makes somebody more interesting than anything is wanting more of them. So to get somebody to want more of you, what you have to do is leave when everything is good. Leave when it's exciting. Leave when you've just made a funny joke or you guys have just really connected. Rather than leaving at the bottom of the conversation where there's no more things to say and it's kind of just gotten awkward before somebody says, okay, I gotta go. When you leave at the height of the conversation, I'm just kidding. But when you leave at the height of the conversation, make sure you do it in a way that still is natural. Don't just walk away like I did there. Instead, finish whatever you were connecting on or your joke, then say, hey, I apologize, I gotta get out of here, let's hang out again sometime. Alright guys, that is the video. Again, if you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful, if you are gonna use anything in this video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well because I'm gonna be coming out with videos just like this one and you don't wanna miss them. Just a review of the 6 points before we get out of here. Be polytonal, use different tones and rhythms in your voice as you talk. Utilize alternative words. Use words that are more interesting than just your typical run-of-the-mill vocabulary. Use touch. Touch them in appropriate areas and during appropriate times of the conversation to build extra connection. Ask questions. Make sure that they are talking 80% of the time and you are talking only 20% of the time. Use eye contact correctly. That doesn't just mean stare into their soul, but break it when it is appropriate to break so that it goes with the natural flow of the conversation. And leave at the height of the conversation. Leave when it's exciting. Leave when you've just built a lot of connection and make them crave you more. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video.